So you're working for legacy.
I tell people all the time, surround yourself with people who don't need you, but they want to be with you. They want to be in business with you, but they don't need you. Because if they need you, they make different decisions.
Exactly.
One of the biggest obstacles artists face in the music game is access. Getting access to the people that can make it happen, or access to the information and resources you need to get to the next level. That's the key. That's why you need two of the biggest in the game on your side. Introducing J.R. McKee, Boomman. Welcome to the real industrial plug. You heard me?
Leron is a wealth of knowledge. And so I just got one other question that you're one of the biggest investors. You deal with VCs, you run your own fund. I'm an artist, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an executive. I'm making the cash flow now. Where would you suggest I invest that cash flow? I'm a brand new, what do I do? How do I secure my money by investing it?
Sure. Well, it's like building a house, right? So you have to have your foundation, which is just straight savings. Have some money, 6 months to a year, put that to the side. So, something happens, you and your mama can eat, right? You take care of your mama's bills, your bills, y'all good. Then you start to create into another layer. You may have a 401k, some kind of other retirement savings, right? That grows tax-free, that will be there at some point in time. So you're comfortable. And then once you have your basics taken care of, then you may start to look into alternative investments. And that alternative investment could be buying some kind of a business. It could also include buying stocks on the stock market directly in mutual funds. But I think a small portion or some portion of that should also include venture capital and private equity, which is basically investing in
other people's business.
In other people's businesses. You'll see a lot of Silicon Valley deals like Uber. That started out with a couple of millionaires passing the hat to say, okay, I believe in that technology that you built. We're going to put up the seed money to fund you. And in exchange for that, we're going to take a piece of equity in that company, and we're going to hope that you're successful. And, investors do that across a number of companies.
So I want them to hear what you said. A couple of millionaires came together. I remember I said my rule number one, business and investing is a team sport. You feel me? Y'all come together as a team, man. Find your team. You could do bigger things. I want you to keep going. I apologize. I just wanted to make sure they got that.
And so I always say a couple of millionaires came together because I've been telling JR, what I try and do is create wealth in my community. So that when a black tech company wants to start a company and they need funding, they don't have to go to Boston or go to Silicon Valley and sit in a room of 10, 15 people who none of them look like us, right? And they don't understand the culture, and they're just less comfortable and less likely to fund, right? I want them to sit down and in a room of similar peers and have an equal shot at getting funded. Not to say that they will get funded, but to say that you have a better shot statistically of getting funded. So I obviously have a fund, Exclusive Capital Ventures, and we bring good deals to the table. But we're very selective, even with the people we bring, because before the person, be honest with you, we only allow people who have excess cash, who understand or who are savvy to get into the fund. But our fund only invests in very high level deals that only the most select private equity, venture capital firms, it's to pass the hat. These deals don't ever go out and they don't ever advertise that they need money. Because a couple millionaires sat in the room and said, I like this, let's do it. And I say, okay, cool. I'm going to let some of my business folks in too. So when that company sells for 100x multiple, 100 times earnings, then we all have created wealth. And now we can fund another person's dreams, because guess what? Most of my friends, we already rich, right? So it's about legacy. Where are we going from now?
Exactly.
You know, we talk about, JR talks about moving to Africa, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should be thinking about that. How can I, it's about more than just me and my kids, because they're cool. It's like, how do we change the world, create wealth? I told JR, and I'm gonna put it out here since we on camera. In next 5 to 7 years, I want to be on the cover of Forbes with 10 of my brothers and sisters, all brown, talking about we all exited billion-dollar companies.
Wow.
And not the same one.
That's going to
Because
happen.
I've already done it.
You just spoke it.
And so I'm putting out to the universe. That's where we're going.
Yes, I'm going to be on that Forbes cover with you, my brother.
So, you know.
I just want to be cool to know you guys.
You're already in the circle.
But so that's dope. So, I mean, if you're a new artist, or if you're anybody out there that's watching and you're now in this space where I have this access capital, just to be clear, again, first you have to take care of home, meaning you have to have your emergency fund, your savings account. You have to have your retirement fund, you know what I mean? But after that, once you start getting into investing, you know what I mean? One of the key things that I took away from what you just said was it's a lot about who you know. You know what I mean?
Mostly.
Because they're not going to pass the hat to a stranger. You know what I mean? These companies that have $1 billion potential, they're not advertising that they need money. They're going to go to people like Leron and people who are already, and they're going to say, hey man, can you and your circle, can y'all put in $1 million?
Sound like the social currency is high.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
High.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, you got to get in your circle. You got to get in the right circles.
If you're not in those circles, having those conversations.
Yeah. Success is relationships, man. And relationships is success. You feel what I'm saying?
All day.
Dope.
So, all right. So, Leron, we got one little thing that we like to do.
Okay,
It's called
what's that?
Tweet Takes. And it's basically where we'll read you one of your tweets.
Oh,
and then
man, I don't even tweet that much. Okay, you found
we got
something
one.
out
We
there?
got one.
Okay.
And then we just want you to expound upon that. Just let the people know where you were thinking.
All right.
So this tweet here, it looks like it was attached to an Instagram post, but you said it's okay to talk about the past, no matter how painful it may be. It's the only way to move on. Sounds very deep. Like, tell us what you mean by that.
No, I mean, everybody, first of all, over COVID, it was stressful.
Right.
It's stressful as a black man, to see what was going on, to process it myself, to talk about it with my friends and my colleagues, and try and figure out a way to move forward. And, then also maintain our business relationships and maintain positive relationships with our white colleagues, right? So, personally, I had to take some introspection to say, I need to talk through it. I need to figure out, stuff.
Yeah.
So I can get past it, right?
Right.
So what was the quote here? It's okay to talk about it.
Yeah, past.
Power to the right.
Yeah.
It's okay to talk about the past, no matter how painful it may be. It's the only way to move on.
So, I think in order to get past systemic things that keep reoccurring, you talking about slapping the belt and all that, right?
Yeah.
So if you were a child and you were traumatized because you were whooped with a belt excessively, if you never talk about that,
Right.
Yeah.
how do you change the cycle?
Right.
So, and that's painful. You have to get through that pain.
We're talking mental health right now.
We're talking mental health, which in our community, we just don't talk enough about.
Right.
And so I talk about that with clients. Unfortunately, I've had to put clients into
You want me to tell you what I
drug
learned?
rehab and mental health.
You want me to tell you what I
situations.
learned?
What's that?
And I don't mean to cut you off. It seems these days, most of our attorneys are like our therapists.
100%.
They're like
100%.
our attorneys and our barbers. They're definitely our therapists, because I talk about almost everything to my attorney.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a real life example today. We probably have 5 or 6 catalog deals going at any one time, right? So I have a client, a legacy artist, calls and says he wants to do sell his catalog. Okay, so
That's dope.
I call his manager, like, I got to get on the phone with him. So I tell him, first thing, what are you going to do with this money? Because if you don't replace that cash flow, I don't want to be sitting here in 7 to 10 years and you working somewhere because you're trying to make money. You're on the road and you're not making money. And so, he stopped for a second and he said, wow. He said, I appreciate you even saying that.
Right.
He said, because you could have just done the deal, got the check and kept it pushing. I was like, nah, it's bigger than that.
Right.
Right. So if we don't educate and talk through our stuff, collective stuff. Yeah. And he said, man, we need to talk about this more as a community.
Right.
About, I'm talking to him about, how much money he needs to have possibly in order to retire.
Right.
What's the kind of lifestyle he wants to have when he retires? He's like, I never thought about it.
See, you're not a man working for money no more. Like you said, you're working for legacy.
I tell people all the time, surround yourself with people who don't need you, but they want to be with you. They want to be in business with you, but they don't need you.
Right.
Because if they need you, they make different decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah. But as a community, we just have to talk through stuff, emotional stuff. My dad passed away unexpectedly, and that was emotional. Like I had to get through that and talk to somebody. Who do you talk to when you at my position or your position?
Yeah.
Go talk to somebody. Go talk to a professional. It's important.
Me and JR were just talking before you came.
Before you came, we was talking real life stuff.
No, that's real life.
Yeah.
And reach out. Hey, and if you're out there, reach out to somebody. Just because they strong and appear strong, just check up on your people and say, how you doing?
For sure.
Because people don't normally call. I'm normally calling them,
Right.
Check up on people.
For sure. Well, Leron, thank you so much for doing this. Let people know where they can reach you.
Well, you can reach me on social at all my handles are at Leron Rogers, LeronRogers. That's probably the easiest thing, or at the firm. Yeah. Hit my assistant, Antonia.
Yeah.
She's the keeper of the calendar.
I might have to hit you up, man.
Yeah. Is there anything, too, you want to get off your chest before we go?
First of all, I just want to congratulate you, brothers, man. Y'all are doing it. I appreciate the fact that you bring in industry knowledge to the people, educating the people. It's really necessary. No matter where you are on sides of positions, let's have a discussion.
For sure.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Leron, man. I appreciate you for guiding my career. I appreciate you for jumping on the show, man.
It's one of the best shows, man. It was definitely informative, man. I hope y'all paid attention.
Yes. So, all right, guys. Another episode of Real Industry Plugs, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Download us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, man. Make sure y'all spread the word, man.
Turn on the notifications, man. YouTube everywhere.
Let's go. Make sure y'all spread the word, man. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Let's get it.
Real nigga radio. One of the biggest obstacles artists